Hi, I'm Trevor Thrasher. Welcome to 88 Tactical. I'm going to go over our range rules and policies. If you have any questions after the video, please contact a range safety officer or RSO on duty. Rule number 1, the safe gun rule. Treat all firearms as if they are loaded. Rule number 2, safe finger. Keep your finger off the trigger and on frame unless you're in the process of firing. Rule number 3, the safe direction rule. Keep your firearm pointed in a safe direction. Never allow the muzzle to cover anything you do not intend to shoot. Don't turn and flag your fellow shooters. If you need to turn or manipulate your weapon, make sure the muzzle is downrange at all times. Rule number 4, the safe target and target line rule. Always be sure of your target, what's around it, and behind it. Your bullet should not impact the wall, ceilings, or floor. Rule number 5, safe storage. Keep your firearm in a case the entire time unless it is in a booth. Now we're going to cover some of the rules prior to entering the range. You're prohibited from shooting under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and food and drink are not permitted on the range. Kids under the age of 18 must be closely supervised at all times by a parent or legal guardian. Children under the age of 10 are not allowed in the range unless they have proof of a hunter safety or youth firearm safety course. The range safety officer will inspect all ammunition prior to entry. Tracer, incendiary, armor piercing, green tip, steel core, and birdshot are prohibited. Prior to entering the range, note that there are 2 doors. Before entering the very first door, make sure you put on your eye protection and ear protection and have them on at all times. Also, before entry, make sure only one door is open at a time. Cell phones are allowed. You may take pictures, videos, and text while observing. But if you're on the firing line with a firearm in your hand, the phone needs to be put away. No selfies with firearms. Drawing from your holster is not allowed unless you've completed our Draw from Holster certification. If interested, please ask the RSO. Proper grip and gun handling must be maintained at all times. No shooting with one hand while the gun is angled or from other unorthodox positions such as from the hip. There's no regulation on rate of fire as long as you're under control and staying on target. You can shoot up to a .308 caliber rifle or any round that has a velocity up to 2,800 feet per second. If your firearm has a malfunction, please clear the firearm if you feel comfortable doing so. If you're not familiar with how to clear the firearm or need assistance, keep the firearm under control, pointed downrange for 30 seconds, then set the firearm down on the wooden shelf inside the booth with the muzzle pointed downrange and find an RSO. Let's get familiar with the range. In each lane, there is a wooden shelf that represents the firing line. Do not advance past the firing line for any reason. And if you drop an object past the firing line, notify an RSO and they will help you retrieve it. Also in each lane, there is a red target carrier that takes the target up and down the range. It's made of metal and should have no impacts. If there are recent impacts in your target carrier, notify the RSO. Your round should not impact the target carrier. If your rounds impact the target carrier, it's a $20 fine for each round and you must notify the RSO immediately. When you're hanging your targets, place them at approximately the shoulders of the target hanger or eye level or lower. That's a good starting point. Regardless of where the target is, your round should impact the berm and only the berm. Behind each trash can are cardboard boxes. These boxes are for your used targets. You're welcome to take them home, but if not, please put them in the cardboard boxes. The RSOs carry medical supplies on their person, and there are medical kits and Band-Aid dispensers on the ranges. Metal benches are located at the back of the range. These benches are for your belongings and gear. Firearms should be in a case or holster at all times, except when on the firing line. When you're finished shooting, bring your case or holster to the firing line to pack up. Move the case to the firearm, not the firearm to the case. Firearms are never to be carried off the firing line in hand, only in a case or holster. Before exiting, make sure you double check to ensure only one door is open at a time. Lastly, and most importantly, is the ceasefire command. If any time you see anything unsafe, call a ceasefire. If you're uncomfortable calling a ceasefire, notify the RSO and they will call a ceasefire accordingly. If you hear a ceasefire command, stop shooting immediately and place the firearm on the bench with the muzzle facing downrange. Step back with your hands up and show the RSO that everything is safe and clear and await further instructions. If you need assistance or have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. The cameras in the range are monitored at all times, and range safety officers conduct walkthroughs in the range every few minutes. Remember, all commands from the RSO must be followed immediately. Be safe and have fun.